we're going to be chatting with a number of individuals, inmates and prison officers who work at the station here to find out, a bit more about the radio station, the purpose behind it. We know that a lot of the inmates have come into the radio station, have done courses in, song engineering and different programs. So we're going to talk to them and we're going to find out the benefits of this radio station here inside the prison. I have with me PO Officer 1 Anselm Spring, the Program Director and also Administrator, and also a couple other names which I wouldn't refuse to call. I will leave that for your colleague. Mr. Spring, welcome to ACTN.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a bit about this radio station, how it all began, and what is the purpose of this radio station inside the prison?
Well, the radio station began with this ex-inmate by the name of Guard Sinclair, who went to England to do one of his documentaries and saw that there was a radio station within the prisons. And with that, he got an idea why this can't work in Trinidad. And he came back to Trinidad and he pitched it to the Ministry of Justice, where the prison service was under at that time, and also the Commissioner of Prisons at that time was Mr. Roger, and they both bought into this being a good product for the inmate population.
Now, the prison service, the radio station actually is comprised of inmates and prison officers.
Yes.
How is that relationship? Because I earlier was talking to a couple of officers who involved in the futsal program, and I got from them that because of that interaction between the officers and the footballers, it has brought a relationship much better than previously, a more understanding between both the inmates and the officers. Is it the same here at the radio station?
Well, yes it is. I mean, we are human beings, and you find that once human beings connect, then there is that kind of relationship that will incur. However, there still must be a divide. Because we are both officers who are on one end and offenders.
I don't know where to draw the line.
Must draw the line. However, there is that human touch. One of the things that we had always envisioned on the radio station is to allow the inmates to understand how the world of work really works. So you come here for 8 to 4 and you do your job. When the launch of this radio station, that was in September 2012, the 12th of September, the British who came down here for the launch was a bit surprised, and they say that we were about 10 years ahead of them because we have both officers and inmates training together. Up there in England, it doesn't operate that way. The inmates are trained by themselves, so we were kind of advanced where that is concerned. So there is that kind of connectivity, kind of brotherhood thing, even though we still have that divide. The offenders that we have up here are of high standard, so they understand what is expected of them, because we can't have an offender up here sending messages to harness the power of radio to transform attitudes and behaviors of the offenders who are inside, and their lives are not reflecting that. So according to the former commissioner, Mr. Stilling, he always said that your video must match your audio. So the standard here, you must come here first of all with a high standard, which means there are programs that you need to get yourself involving at the beginning before you even come here. So that the life skill programs.
Because I was just about to ask you, how does one come into the station? Like, I could get up one morning and say, okay, I want to come into the radio station. It do operate like that?
No, it do operate like that. And a matter of fact, there are people who come into the radio station and leave not too long after, because it's demanding on you. Because it's not a come up here for a line, but you come here to work. Because again, if we want to produce good standing people, when they leave the prison system, then you must understand what work is. And I think that is some of the challenges we have as a society. We have people coming in here, and a lot of the offenders we have within our institutions come from single parent homes. So there's not that alpha male in the house showing you how to be a man.
Okay.
And this is where we come in.
Now, what are some of the benefits the inmates they get out of being at the radio station? Like, for instance, are there courses that you can take part in? How can they further themselves in broadcasting? Because I know that one former inmate, Ms. Puran, I think she used to be at the radio station, and she's now outside. What can one take if and when released from the prison to go outside to say, okay, I want to, further my career in broadcasting or something like that?
Well, the initial people who were trained at the radio station were 12 inmates and 11 officers. We were trained under the late Holly Thomas. So you'll find that, we have that certificate from ADB.
Okay.
Right? There are other inmates who were trained after. They were trained under the YTEP, the YTEP regime. So they have that to go with when they live on the outside. The challenge, most of the times, is that society don't see a rehabilitated person. They see a prisoner.
That's the problem.
So the challenge is when I leave the institution, how can I did all this work in here. I feel that my life has changed from what it was before. But when I go out, I still go with that stigma.
How can we correct that?
I think we have to be more tolerant. That change do happen. And not everybody come out from the prison playing games or will end back up in the same situation. And I think a lot of the times people end back up in the same challenges or the same situation because of lack of any support. Because there's no support when they leave the institution. My spring thinking, if it is that there could be some concessions made that if you take an ex-offender into your organization, you will get some kind of tax break or something like that. So you give people incentive that if they hire ex-offenders, then they will get some kind of remuneration package or something like that. What that will do, it will also help curb the recidivism rate that is happening in the country.
What sort of programming that you will have on a daily basis? Take me through like a day's program, what it entails.
Well, the day's program starts in the morning. We start automated at about 5 o'clock in the morning. We have a Muslim programming from 5 to 6. From 6 to 7 we have Hindu programming, and then from 7 straight about 10 we have a religious programming, more of the Christian beast. And then in the mid-morning we have like talk shows, some of that, and we have music and other features like word of the day and these things. The main thing that we try to do even throughout the entire day is to educate those who are in our care. Because you find that when you're outside, they're looking for something. They have no time to sit down and study, okay, what's the best way to treat a woman? How much touch is too much? What about anger management? Hey, I need to take care of my posture because I get an older in age and these things. So all these different topics we teach through the power of radio. We even do Spanish as well, basic Spanish.
Well, we flooded in the country, flooded with Spanish now, so we are learning Spanish just now.
So we touch a lot on Spanish features as well, so that they get a cura with that other language, because it says Spanish is supposed to be our second language. Up-to-date stuff that are happening in the world presently, so we touch on that. I don't know if you know, well, today is what day is today and what day is tomorrow. So have the United Nations have different days and these different days. So we touch on all that kind of stuff.
So you all operate like a full-fledged...
We operate like a normal radio station. The challenge for us in the earlies is that we had to go and do some research. How an ordinary radio station will work, and then we had to bring it and tweak it back to our environment. To bring it now to our target audience. So we had to do a lot of stuff, but we operate like a normal radio station. We have our news 3 times a day at 10, 12, and at 4.
Yeah, this is not a sports program.
You would listen to our sports program. So we have sports, and we have other features that we do from time to time, and get outside people to come in as well.
Now, only 3 of the actual prisons will hear the broadcast. Right? But the general citizenship of Trinidad and Tobago can hear the station via the
It would
internet.
have to be via the internet,
Via the internet, right? Now, so are you all promoting that viewership so at least people can be aware of something good that is happening behind the prison walls?
We broadcast on Rise Maximum Radio .caster.fm.
And anybody can go up there
Yeah,
and
get that. What we have done in the past is we have gotten the permission to use our WhatsApp number.
Okay.
So like around Christmas time or even generally now, families of the incarcerated could send a WhatsApp
How is that working?
text. Overwhelming actually. Sometimes we can't even contain the amount of people that send requests. And then we also have people from other prisons, well, from the maximum security prison, remand prison, and the female prison. Once they hear songs, so they send in their own requests and things like that. Music is comforting. And if we have a people that are incarcerated but, you know, at peace as much as possible, then they have a more quiet environment. So you can get it through the Caster FM, Rise Maximum Radio .Caster FM, and you could listen to the broadcast that's going on. You could also type in little requests or little donations or anything you want.
I saw recently on Facebook you were going live with a lot of your programs.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
Again, what happens within Trinidad and Tobago is all the bad is being portrayed about the prison service. And I'm not trying to toot your horn, but if it wasn't for Ask TV, a lot of the stuff that's happening, the positive stuff that's happening within here would not have gotten outside. And I think we want to be part of that as well. Yes, there are negative things that are happening within the walls, but there are also a lot of positive things as well. And we want to get that balance because, I mean, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. And the prison service is really working forward into advancing the way how we operate and the way we do things. From 1838 to now, it's a far difference. And we are really moving forward into restorative justice. And I think we there. We there. My challenge is, I think the prison service got restorative justice. We have it. The challenge with restorative justice is that prison is just one aspect of it. Society needs to jump on board.
How many of the inmates that would have passed through the prison have been released?
You mean the radio station?
The radio stations, yeah.
Wow. We had about five, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess from time to time they will come in and...
Well, no, not coming. No.
So there's no way that if an inmate was associated with the radio station and wants to come back into the radio station, maybe to be a motivational speaker or something like that.
You mean on the radio station?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so far none have expressed that.
But you all will...
I think we could make it happen.
You can make it happen.
I think we could make it happen.
You know, yes, okay.
I think we will make it happen.
Okay,
because that's a feature that they do in England as well, called, well, what happens on the outside after prison end. So a lot of people go through challenges, and it would be good to bring back those people here so that those who are on the way out will understand, okay, yeah, you're going out. You understand that you have all these dreams, but this is reality.
That is what I was trying to get to, because they would have a first-hand view, and now you have the opportunity by way of radio to kind of like educate those who are behind waiting for that thing. Before I let you go, is there anything that you would like Trinidad and Tobago to know about this radio station? Because I know in anything in life we do, there are challenges, there are needs for certain things. If there are people viewing this program and wants to assist you all, in what area you all are looking for assistance, and you know, how can they help?
Well, I think one of the things that we want to do is always to evolve, to get better. And I think, well, you visited the radio station. What we really want there is really a soundproof room to sound off the room, because where we are is not really conducive for radio because we're in an office space. And so one of the things we want to do is to build a soundproof room, which means we have to get plexi because we can't use glass because of the environment that we're in, board and all these different things. So I think if all this stuff that we need to get will come up to about probably $25,000. Those different things, because plexi is very expensive. The great thing about prisons is that we have free labor. So, you know, I already had a study about people doing the work, but it's just to get the materials, to make here, this studio here, more accessible, because we want to add more staff, we want to train more offenders to make them marketable when they go on the outside, so which means we need a bigger space, a better space, so it'll be more conducive to work. And that would be a great start for us. A great start. We were looking in the beginning, so how could we reach the other stations? The challenge is, and we know what's happening in the economy is not doing very well, but to get into the other prisons, we need to get speakers into the different areas to reach more offenders. To get that done, which means we need money. And that in itself is a challenge as well. To broadcast to let's say, the Eastern Correctional Facility, Port of Spain Prison, we need to get antennas to do that kind of stuff. Then we have to study license now if we're going over the airwaves to do all these things. So it's a lot where finances is concerned, and reoccurring expenditures as well, because then you always have to pay for the license every year. But if we consider and we understand the group of people that we want to reach to make our society better, then I think no amount of money is too much.
Mr. Spring, it was a pleasure, and let me wish you all the best, and I really hope that by doing this interview here, you know, some corporate company outside here will see the need, you know, to assist you all, because I think it's a great opportunity, because I always remember Mr. Stewart said that once an inmate comes in here, they don't want them living the same way they came in, and I think this is a great way of assisting them. I know it's difficult with the after-release program where, you know, you're still being looked at as a convict, and we hope that that will change, and that, you know, maybe a couple of radio stations will see it fit maybe to come into the prison and see if they can, maybe, as you said earlier, take an inmate upon release and, you know, try them at least. No harm in trying, you know, but give them an opportunity to show that what they have learned inside of here, it could be implemented outside. So again, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. As we continue highlighting the work that is done, the positive work that is being done inside our prison in Trinidad and Tobago, we are still here at the Rise Maximum Radio. We heard from Officer Spring. Now we have inmate Andrew Douglas. You would have seen Andrew a couple of times on ACTN. We're going to talk to Andrew to find out, being in the radio station here, you've been here for how long?
From the birth.
From the birth?
Yeah, going on 4.5.
That's going on 4. What have you, as an inmate, benefited from being in this radio station?
Well, I benefited a lot, a great deal, in the sense that I learned to develop myself academically via the internet. I've also learned to develop myself spiritually, because now as I have access to the internet, I could go and do my research and thing for the programs that I do, which is gospel, and mornings from 7 to 10. So I do my research, go on to the program, and share what I learned from the internet. Apart from that, develop a form of character, in the sense that I've been away from work, from office work for quite a while. So being in the environment, it helps me to develop mannerism whereby, you know, preparing myself so when I reach out at the free world, I'll know how to fit in into office should I get a job. Yeah.
Now, you are here doing what? What's your role?
In the radio station. So my role is analyzing the requests. You know, apart from having a program, which is your gospel, Synergy, Morning Synergy, I collect the requests from the various prisons, go through the requests, see if it is beneficial to play.
Okay.
And if it is not beneficial for the development of Rise Maximum Radio, our mission, our vision and mission, we can't play it. However, we'll substitute it with something more positive. So no negative music, only inspiration. Secularly, normal song, you know, but no songs that is will incite the inmates in any way negatively. So that's what I do. I censor the music and give the different team or let us say batch the music to play on their segment.
What would you say are the benefits arising out of having a radio station within the prison?
Yeah, well, it's a holistic benefit in the sense that if we go back to history, Hitler, because of the radio, Hitler could take over the whole world could know about Hitler back then, right? Radio is something that is positive. Once the people who work in it is positive. Added to that, it is essential, I believe, especially in the prison system, in respect to sharing inspiration, encouragement, motivation, strength, not just entertainment. It could change the world, change the mindset of the people. I remember since I've been here, there's this guy who heard a song, an inspirational song playing on the radio, and he was contemplating suicide on the inside. And because he heard the song, you know, he changed his mind and he told the members of the radio station what had happened. And we felt good. Other than that, after playing beautiful songs for the people, when you go inside, the guy say, "Hey, I love that song, I like that song, that was really nice. Hey, I like the program you did today. Thank God, God bless you, brother." You know, so they encourage us to encourage them. So radio is very, very, very beneficial for the development of change, transformation, growth, as well as spiritualism.
Anything you'd like to share with the viewing public, you know, about your involvement here and the purpose of the radio station?
Yeah, well, really, the only thing I would like to share is that God is real, you know, and who would have thought that I would have been a broadcaster, radio announcer, or even a DJ? You know, who would have thought that I would have been able to touch the lives of others? So many visit the radio. I mean, I didn't see that. You know, I would like to just encourage all who is listening or watching, you know, to stay in Christ, because He's the answer. And no matter what situation, no matter what we go through in our lives, we have to hold on to Christ, because after going through our trials and tribulation, it helps purify us mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, to go on and even be stronger, you know. So my encouragement is to stay in Christ, stay strong, don't ever give up the fight, and know that God is in control, no matter what. Yeah?
Andrew, it's a pleasure.
Same here, pleasure is mine. Thank you.
And from one inmate to another, we have Arnold Ramlogan. Arnold, it's a pleasure talking to you again. I've spoken to you on many occasions. Give us in your own words, you know, you coming into the radio station, being an inmate, you know, and how has that benefited you in your journey?
Well, first to begin, I'd like to say a pleasant good day to Trinidad and Tobago. By extension, all those who represent prison, my family, everyone. Special good day to you as well, right? How Rise Maximum Radio has benefited me in a holistic way is that I am a totally rehabilitated person. In relation to becoming rehabilitated, Rise Maximum Radio has done a lot for me. Being at Rise Maximum Radio has given me a certain set skills in which to prepare me for society. I think that those set skills will go a long way in helping me as an individual, and then also while at Rise and even on the outside to help others achieve that mindset of being totally restored within humanity and within Christ. Being at Rise has given me the opportunity to become a song editor, a newscaster, news writer, and most importantly, I even preach the Word of God at Rise Maximum Radio. I started off in 2012 as an on-air presenter on a program called The Spotlight. Then Mr. Spring graduated me to another program called The Morning Synergy, which is a gospel program that was in keeping to the person that I am now. Right? I'm spiritually developed. I'm deeply involved in church activities, as well as any program that the prison service has to offer. I am a certified mentor. Right? I came second in a public speaking contest, and I personally believe that Rise Maximum Radio has been responsible for all these things. Under the leadership of Mr. Anselm Spring, I can just give this guy full kudos, as well as all the other officers and the inmates contributed a lot to that. Being at Rise has given me the opportunity to become a team player. Being a team player is not something easy for someone who has grown up alone, but at the same time, I have used this experience to do good to people, try my best to give them good food for thought, try my best to put them on the right spiritual path in relation to Christ, and also to be that person on the outside. Because I have a lot of ambition in relation to promoting the gospel of Christ. Right? I want to preach the word on the outside, as well as being involved in charitable organizations. Right? So Rise Maximum has done a lot for me. I got a lot of feedback on the inside. When we go on the inside, men compliment us in indicating that you're doing a good job. Sometimes when you preach, we listen to you, you know, although some advice may be hard to accept, but that is the way, that is in keeping with, you know, changing mindsets. Changing mindset is not an easy thing. It is said that a mindset forms in 1 hour and takes 500 years to eradicate. So I believe that when good men sit down, evil prevail. And I am not going to be one of the men that's sitting down and allowing that. Even though I have come into prison for a crime, I am not leaving here criminally minded. Right? I'm leaving here a person cemented in Christ and wants to do that job on the outside. So in relation to Rise Maximum Radio, it has done a lot for me. Right? And I am seeing many changes within the prison service itself. Right? I am in prison 22 years now. And how it was in 1996, it is not so in 2018. I have seen the prison transform from being one way to a more positive environment. Right? So the prison service itself is moving forward. Right? I believe that, you know, with a little more help from, you know, outside entities, you know, non-governmental organizations and the government, the prison service can do a lot for inmates. I just call prison officers healers, because when they are arrested, placed into prison, who has to deal with them? It is people who has a reformative mindset, officers and inmates like us. We have to try and assist inmates who are less fortunate to be transformed. As Rise Maximum is geared towards one thing, is making people better human beings. Our music, our content, which is high, which is rich in quality, we really do try. You know, sometimes we receive opposition, sometimes people accept us, you know, in a positive way. But at the same time, Rise Maximum Radio is good for prison, right? It puts positive food in people's mind, food for thought, you know.
Arnold, it was a pleasure. I know talking to you could go on and on.
Yes.
You know, but
yes.
We want to thank you for spending the time with us, and we hope that you'll continue by way of the airwaves, encouraging those who are less fortunate in outside or whoever hearing you on the internet. And I hope that you'll make a great difference inside the prison. So thank you again.
Thank you again. Well, I am hoping to be on the outside just now, and hoping that we will be in contact. We have a lot of work, you know, as you know, we have a lot of work on the outside, and there's a lot of people to help on the outside. Not only within prison. We can't wait for people to come within prison to help them. We have to try and help people on the outside, the youths especially, and a matter of fact, Trinidad on the whole. We try to help them, because while we may promote restorative justice on the inside, outside in the free world there is need of restorative justice.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you once again.
Yeah, all the best.
All right, same to you, sir.
Okay, joining us here is another inmate, Andy Gould. You will have seen Andy on ACTN, but at the sporting arena, being an official with the futsal program put on by Clayton Morris. But we got to find out today that Andy is a new recruit here at the radio station. Before we touch on the futsal program, let's talk about the connection here with the radio station. How you got involved?
Well, Mr. George, pleasant good afternoon. Well, I must say this is a very nice program. And by getting involved in this program is to bring a message to the youths, and, because Rise Maximum is always, on air where a lot of people listen to this program, as well as in the early stage at MSP here at 2013. I came up here and I did a LP. That this is Bobo here and Rise Maximum, keep listening, blessed love. And being incarcerated, I always had that urge to get on the program, to share the message because I'm a Rastafarian, I'm a Bobo Shanti, So it's a joy to be here. It's a message, Well, the program I'm looking forward to bring forward as a message about cultural aspect, about Rastafarian concept, and bringing our listening ear to the youths and them, because it have different section where it have Rasta City, So I want to bring a clearer understanding that no Rasta City is Rastafarian, So that is my aspect being on Rise Maximum, to bring a message positive to the youths and them.
They have that stigma outside the Muslim Rasta war that is fighting there, but I always tell people I've never seen a Rasta man in a Rasta City gang.
No, yeah.
So
one love is the mission, and also this being incarcerated and also taking part in a lot of program. I also take part with Film and Theatre. I'm an official referee, with the futsal team.
Yeah. Okay.
With Mr. Clayton Morris, that's my coach. And now I'm a part of Rise Maximum family, which is RMR, So it's a pleasure to be here, Yeah.
The reason why we come into the prison on such a regular basis is that, we try to let the people of Trinidad know that all is not lost inside the prison, and all that you hear on the outside is not to believe, because in everything there is good and bad. But from what I've seen inside the prison, a lot of good things is outweighing the bad things. And for instance, you being a part of the futsal program, and now being a part of the radio station, and also to highlight the work of the officers, because a lot of these programs would not be in place had it not been for the officers going that extra mile, giving that, because a lot of them here, they have their shift to work, and after their shift they remain until, to make sure. So you have to give credit to the inmates who are trying to improve the lifestyle in the prison, and also the officers who are the ones who really are being negatively affected by whatever sometimes, the bad influence go outside and do. So we take the opportunity to really come in here and to showcase to the public the officers alongside the inmates who are producing and promoting that positive aspect of the prison. And you are here as one of the inmates to testify both with the radio station and with the futsal program.
Yes.
Given the opportunity, what would you like to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago to make them aware that all is not lost when you come into the prison?
Okay. Well, a pleasant good afternoon to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Andy Gould, as I said from before. Well, rehabilitation starts from within yourself, Always within, make sure your audio match your video. You know what I mean? How you carry about yourself. Now, there's a lot in the prison system where the younger youths, well, I must say, they are being inspired by other inmates like Arnold Ramlogan, he just be into the preaching aspect, Andy Douglas, You know, there's a lot of inmates who inmates look up to, because I was at a program Sunday, and what really drew the attention, I look at inmates, I stand up and I just like observe, and I just see, well, you know, the word reaching onto the inmates and them, which we call as clients today. You know, we no longer say inmates as inmates, you know, we look at them as clients, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you're seeing rehabilitation in the youths and them, you know, and the stigma where it used to have from a long time ago is a total difference. You know, you used to hear unnecessary this and that, and now it is like no longer like that, because it's unity, and unity is strength. And as I would say, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is not something just so. You know what I mean? And what I should say again also, education is the key. While being incarcerated, you must grasp to do some program. And the prison system have a lot of program where it have the prisoner's journey, it have a lot of youths graduated. You know, it have the school, which is doing a pretty well good job, you know, and many other programs, you know. So the prison, you know, doing a lot for the youths and them, I should say. You know what I mean? Being incarcerated for 10 years, yeah, I've seen a lot changes, and I respect the elders and them who carry about themselves in a manner, as I said before. Arnold Ramlogan, I admire that job. But he carry about how he carry about himself and how he minister unto the youths and them, and everybody was like listening. And I was there apart. I clap, I sing, I just like I observe. You know what I mean? I feel the spiritual aspect, you know, and it's a pleasure to be on Rise Maximum Radio to carry out this message as well, you know.
Andy, it was a pleasure, and all the best, and we'll keep in contact, because I know that you're both in here at the radio station now and at the football, and we'll see one another. So all the best.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, man.
Well, viewers, I'm in the office of the Assistant Commissioner of Prison, Deopersad Ramuta, and you are in charge of PR and communications and the media. Mediation. Well, we have heard a lot of positive things about what is happening behind the prison walls, and that's the purpose of ACT and visiting the prison, to always bring to the public that positive side and not too much on the negative things that is happening. You will have to explain to us, being the head here, the purpose and the success of the radio station and the benefits arising out of what it was set aside to do.
Right. Thank you, George, and welcome to you and your staff and AX Programming Television to prison. We very much appreciate the positive news that you all have been doing for us. Today, as head of the Department of Communications, PR and Mediation, it gives me the overview of our radio station. Rehabilitating Inmates for Self-Empowerment, our acronym is RISE, R-I-S-E. This was conceptualized in the year 2012 by the then Commissioner, Mr. John Roger, and his team. And we are here happy to carry out that philosophy. Now, the secret about radio programming in the prison, we are internal. We broadcast to inmates and officers on duty. Our vision is to someday go into the national airwaves, but that's a costly venture, so it's a work in progress. However, what we have realized and what we have done so far, to rehabilitate someone, you have to capture their interests. And you can do it through empowering them through physical means, teaching them a trade, teaching them some life skills. But the real rehabilitation takes place in the mind. How do you get into the minds of someone who lacks the skills to survive legally outside here? You have to get them in a classroom, you have to get them to sit down and listen to you for a period of time. The majority of our inmates, the majority, that is not all, would not have a long attention span. And they may have been dropped out from school because sitting down in a class and listening to someone was boring, and that didn't suit their fancy. So they have done other things to entertain their interests. So in prison, to get someone to sit down, we had to do something exciting for them. Music. Music moves everyone. Regardless of the type of music, you just play that person's particular music and they will listen to you. So we have captured their interest by playing music to them. Of course, positive music. But into the area of field that they like to listen to music. So we play all genres of music. Within the programming, we selectively introduce our words of wisdom, motivation, lectures, and so on, speech. And it's like advertisement. When you repeat something over and over and over, it sticks in your head. And we have been able to get into the minds, do critical thinking, empower the inmates through educating them, informing them, and I say inmates or officers too. So when you're on duty, and your duty is not very, very active, and there's a lull moment or where there's just supervision, you can listen on to the radio programming and hear the messages being sent. So you will find one of their tunes being played and they're chumming along and humming the tunes, and all of a sudden we just break for intermission, give them words of advice, we let them know rules and regulations, we read articles that pertain to prison life and reformation and so on to them. And so that is how we get the message across. And that's the steal of the deal. Now we have doubled up on that, meaning 80% of our staff at the radio program who does announcing and programming and research and getting this material, this powerful message onto the inmates are inmates themselves. And that's it, bam. That's what makes this so wonderful. Our staff here is a mix with officers and inmates. Of course, these inmates are our very best in behavior and so on, and we allow them to use the computers where they do research daily for their hour slot of programming. We have network and partnership with a lot of media houses. ACS is one of them. ACS have been a friend, a brother, a sister, a father to us in programming and media work, and we appreciate that a lot. What we have done is pattern the normal programming of duty and roster and so on, similar to any radio programming outside it. So we have officers working and inmates working from 8 in the morning straight to 8 or 9 in the evening. And we do a wonderful programming. Weekly we do surveys. We get a feedback from the inmates in how was the program, what do you like? And we tweak our programming to suit their need. We have inmates having favorite announcers coming on, and they listen for a particular time when they will be airing their message and so on. We have partnership with YTEP, where we give the radio broadcasting course to officers and inmates. So we keep retraining inmates in the skills and art. Of course, there are shortcomings. We are pressed for space. At presently, we are looking to soundproof our newsroom to the listening public out there, those of you are in TV land, to the corporate sponsors. We are willing for that financial help. This material, it's about $20,000 we would need in material, plexi, ply, 2x4, foam and so on, to just to separate the room so we can create a soundproof newsroom. This will help us a lot. I'm proud to say that I'm proud of the inmates' behavior and so on. They practice all the courtesies of what you would expect in an office and a professional environment. We so often change the inmates, so we spread that goodness around. What we have done recently is that we decided to choose a topic per month, a social issue topic, and break it up into 4 parts, 1 per week, and do our programming and research on that particular topic to reach out to the inmates and so on. We get feedback from inmates. They would like us to speak on certain legal issues. We have on board to bring in experts and so on, professional people in the area to add to that information that we may not have. And that's make our station really, really dynamic.
Okay. What would you like to share with us right now that, you know, to let the public know that it's a lot of positive inside the prison and not all the negative things that you will hear from time to time?
Right, excellent. Other than the department I head, public relations and communication and mediation, we have a programs unit with an entire staff of officers. We have tweaked the dress code of the officers, not the strict uniform type material, but a more civilian type clothing, where we create a psychological effect in preventing that hostility with the inmate who may see a uniform officer as being more on the security side. We have schooling program here. We have teachers from the outside who come and tutor to our inmates. We have inmates who are taught to be tutors, and they tutor to our inmates. We have inmates writing CXC, CAPE. We even had situations where inmates who did tertiary education and got certificates and all that. We have, through the programming, we have 2 or 3 inmates right now would have written books and put it online. And you would know about that. You would probably interview those inmates.
I met one recently at, I think Raymond.
Yes, and in all their books, they, in introduction and so on, they kudos to the prison staff for encouraging them. I know one of the guys personally, when I say personally, in the prison, he would have come into prison semi-literate. He became literate and went on to writing a book of poems. And he have impressed publishers outside there that are willing to publish his books and so on. We have inmates being taught trade. We do masonry, we do plumbing, we do furniture making, upholstery, auto repairs, mechanic, bodywork, agriculture. We have inmates working in the veg area where we're not really self-sufficient, but we assist ourselves a lot with the food. Anything you can get in the market, we plant it here, and the produce is given to the inmates. There are so much positives that goes on in the prison, but sad to say, the public gets more excited about negative news, which is so sad. But then let me take some of the blame too, in that we are not boasting enough about the things that we do. So maybe who doesn't want to listen, fine, but we have to keep boasting about the good things that we do. You would have had an opportunity to speak to some of the inmates here who are in the radio program, and you can see how articulate they are. They are well versed. They speak with a passion. They have bought into the philosophy, and when the inmates listen to another inmate telling them things about their life story, they embrace those words more than if a uniformed staff was saying it. So that in a package is how we reach the inmates. What is new? We have the mediation unit. We are soon to go public with it. The mediation unit, we deal with conflict. Well, prison, as you would expect, is a high conflict, high impact environment. On a daily basis, we have conflict taking place. Well, in fact, in any organization, you would have conflict. And in a prison environment where the majority of inmates here are rough and tough, let me just, and criminal minded, I was hesitant to say that, but let me just be real. And they would have grown up from an environment very rough and aggressive. You bring them together, they are going to have flare-ups. My staff get into conflict with them. My staff get into conflict with staff members. And inmates get into conflict with other inmates. Mediation unit, we have a pool of highly skilled mediators. Some have been certified by the mediation board. I am head of that unit. I am myself a certified mediator, and we have been treating with many conflicts that come to the department. A lot of conflicts are between officers and inmates, where officers' lives are threatened and so on. We have had a lot of success in that. What we have realized through mediation, an inmate gets to understand that the prison service is not his enemy. Sometimes through dialogue, he realizes his own self is his worst enemy by the way he thinks, the way he analyzes things, and his behavior. We have inmates dealing with other inmates who are in conflict. And through dialogue, through mediation, they get to realize that because of the lack of resources, we are put together to fight with limited resources, and the outcome of the fight and so on, and the conflict is not worth it. Let's cooperate, let's see how we can work together to help the prison service get this over and done with. So the mediation unit have been making a lot of progress in treating with the way we manage conflict in the prison.
Okay.
There's one new unit, a chaplaincy unit in the prison, where we have a pool of officers who are very learned in their spiritual denomination. So we have pastors, we have pundits, and we have imams who administer spiritual counseling and services to officers and their families. So officers in distress, we do home visits, and the officer in their particular faith would visit and give counsel. This is in addition to EAP programs and meeting with the psychologists. So that's some dynamic things happening in the prison here that, yes, we are not boasting enough about it.
Well, we at ACTN will continue to highlight the positive side of what is happening behind the prison, because we see the importance of allowing the population to know what is going on. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for affording me the opportunity to come in here today and to highlight this. And as I said, we will continue advertising the positive side of what is happening inside the prison. So again, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, George.
Wish you all the best.
And you are always welcome, you and your staff, always welcome to the prison.
Thank you very much.